Hi class. I am going to review how can students achieve. Remember, this is a strategy that you can use on your STAR test to help you evaluate and answer the questions. How? Highlight the question. Can. Circle the important information. Does this mean everything? No, it means the important information. It's keywords, definitions, numbers, things that will help you to solve the question. Students, solve. This is when we actually do our math work. Remember, there can be 1, 2, 3, sometimes even multiple steps involved in solving. Achieve. Answer. Look at your answer and see if it connects to your highlighted question. If you have an answer that is 15, but the number that you originally used is bigger than that, ask yourself, does that make sense? If it doesn't, go back and reevaluate how you solve the problem. So achieve is answer. Evaluate your answer. Now, let's look at a problem and actually analyze it. It says here, Miss Poretta, and does it really matter that I know how to pronounce that name? No, I can say Miss P. Miss P designed a true-false quiz. The ratio of true answers to false answers is 3:2. If there were a total of 40 questions on the quiz, how many questions had false as the answer? Record your answer and fill in the bubbles. Be sure to use the correct place value. So this gives me no answer choices. So, first, how? Highlight the question. Now, usually when you start looking at the last sentence, because that's where the question is most of the time, you just get highlighter happy. And it says if there were a total of 40 questions on the quiz. Well, that's not the actual question. That's important information that we may end up circling, but it's not the actual question. So the actual question is right here. How many questions had false as the answer? So that is what gets highlighted. The next one, can. Circle the important information. So now I'm going to go. It's a true-false quiz, and the ratio of true to false answers is 3:2. This is important because this tells me the order of this ratio. So 3 represents true, and 2 represents false. If there were a total of 40 questions on the quiz, so total of 40 questions, and then here's my question. How many questions had false as the answer? Now, it is okay to circle important information in the question because I still need that information in order to accurately solve the question. Okay, so I am going to now take my important information and go on to students, solve. So, right now I know that it's a proportion. Okay, I have a ratio, and so 2 ratios equal make 1 proportion. I have to figure out what these proportions are going to represent. Okay, I'm looking for false, and I have on the original test I have 40 total questions. So my top proportion is going to represent false, and my bottom will represent the total. Okay. Now I'm going to do the side of the ratio that is the one that I'm trying to solve, the one that has the X. So I know that there's a total of 40 questions and we're looking for false. So the false becomes the X and the 40 is the total. Now I'm going to go to the ratio that is given to me. We said that this ratio is true to false because the T represents 3 and the F represents 2 because of the order that the ratio is stating. So 3 represents true, 2 represents false. So 2 is what we're going to put at the top. Now, on our proportion, it says that false is over total is the kind of ratio that we're looking for. But it doesn't say the total. But we can count the total based on how many there are. So 2 plus 3 is 5. So there's 5 total questions on that sample test. So now I'm going to cross multiply and divide. 5x equals 80, because 40 times 2 is 80. Then I'm going to divide, always divide by the number with the x. I'm going to divide by 5 on each side. This one cancels out. And x equals 80 divided by 5. 80 divided by 5 is 16. So x equals 16. So there's 16 questions on the 40 question test that is false. All the others are true. So I'm going to bubble. This is the ones place value, this is the tens place value. So I look at my bubble sheet and here's my decimal. So this is the ones and this is the tens. And I'm going to shade, make sure I shade dark enough for people to see. Okay? Alright, here is the one that I want you to do. I'm going to read over it twice. You can stop the video if you need to make sure that you have it down. Please answer this question, and then after you answer this question, bring it to class so that we can go over it. Alright, here is your question. An inaccurate clock loses 3.5 minutes every 8 hours. How much time will the clock lose in 1 week? Okay, here's the question again. An inaccurate clock loses 3.5 minutes every 8 hours. How much time will the clock lose in 1 week? Okay, I am not going to show you the answer choices. I want to make sure that you do the process and you do the steps without worrying about which answer choice is there and which answer choice is not. Okay, again, let's review before you do this one by yourself. How can students achieve? We're going to highlight the question. We're going to circle the important information, we're going to solve the problem, and we're going to evaluate our answer. You can achieve.